Hello, listeners. This is Kat. Welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Watch Your Heroes Fall. This will be Part 19, Chapters 21 and 22. Chapter 21, Phase 3, Fight for Your Rights, Fight for Your Life. Does anyone have a saber? I have an umbrella. I have an emergency car brake. Julie Andrews, Erica Young, Anne Hathaway, Queen Clarice, Umbrella Lady, Princess Mia, The Princess Diaries. Chapter 22, Phase 3, Step 1, Gut Punch. Is he still crying? Jean asks. Can people cry while they're asleep? Izuku can. Momo laughs. It's a forced laugh, and everyone can tell by now. Kurogiri shuffles behind the bar and starts putting some meat patties in a pan on the stove, and Himiko pulls another protein bar out of her skirt pocket and shoves it at Momo. I'm gonna kill him if he doesn't stop pushing himself like this, Shoto mumbles. Your body's still not in great shape either, Dabi says, and Shoto asks how Dabi's stitches are feeling, and Dabi tells Shoto to shut the fuck up. Can I just sleep here? Hitoshi groans, and there are similar groans from almost everyone gathered. They're all exhausted, which is honestly really fair after spending almost 6 hours unearthing hundreds of civilians from under the ruins of a poorly built department store after an earthquake. The bar, despite its age, is standing tall. Only all the glasses and bottles of alcohol and mixers have been knocked off the shelves, and someone will have to clean all that shit up later. Remind me to never do hero work again, Shigaraki huffs. When he tripped, as they all did, really, through the warp gate, he landed with his head on Magne's leg, and he hasn't moved it. Magne is thinking about how, this time last month, Shigaraki would never dream of leaning on her so casually. We should probably put these kids to bed, Jean says, and he starts to rise. But Himiko slaps a hand on his chest, and he leans back down to appease her. Himiko shouts, Momo needs snacks first. Momo's not quite the same as she was a month ago either. She thanks Himiko instead of making derisive comments about her figure. Maybe taking part in Uebame's public meltdown helped with that. I could always warp the food upstairs if it would be more convenient, Kurogiri offers. And Jean and Compass and Magne take that as a signal to start ushering the League's little members to bed, and for once, all of those little members are too tired to fight them on it. Shigaraki and Dabi deign themselves old enough to walk up to bed ahead of everyone else with an air of disdain for the coddling Kurogiri and Magne and Compass and Jean are getting comfortable with expressing, even though neither of them truly feel disdain for it. Shoto and Hitoshi and Himiko are all herded upstairs by Jean. Magne carries Momo, who tries to get up and got hit with dizzying low blood sugar, who apologizes for all the trouble, all the way upstairs, and Magne insists it's no trouble at all. Her muscles aren't just for show. Compass carries Izuku, and Izuku stays asleep the whole way up to bed. Everyone gets settled in comfy clothes and blankets in their beds. Meanwhile, in the ground level of the bar, while he cooks enough steamed buns and sandwiches for everyone, Kurogiri turns on a little television nestled into the corner, and keeps an eye on the news channels for reporters covering the damages of the earthquake. It seems they had been near the epicenter, and to anyone talking about the League's actions. Kurogiri knows Izuku will want to know all about the media coverage he missed while asleep, just like he knows Tomura will want the crust cut off of his sandwiches, and Momo will want chicken-filled buns, and Magne will want tofu-filled buns, and Dabi will want his sandwich cold because he prefers cold food, and Hitoshi will just want the sandwich parts and not the bread because he hates bread. And isn't it lovely to have more than one person to care for? Kurogiri thinks as he passes plates of food through warp gates to each room. Kurogiri has never thought hard about his own physical form, but he feels something warm and fluttering in the space where he must have a chest when Himiko squeals at her chicken buns, and when Compass passes a rose of gratitude back through the warp, and when Jean peeks out from under his mask to nod at him and take a bite of his tofu buns, and when Shoto whispers a quiet, thanks. Kurogiri realizes that the warm fluttering he feels, the tight edges of his eyes, the slow and breezy sigh he breathes while he blinks absently at the TV. This is joy. Kurogiri has Tomura still, and yet he is also allowed more now. He has a family. He saved people today. He was a hero. He has always wanted to be a hero. Kurogiri realizes he has no idea how old he is. He carefully compartmentalizes away that concern. There was no way Kurogiri ever wanted to be a hero because he was created to serve Tomura. There's no reason to worry about how old he is, or who he is. No reason at all. Kurogiri watches the news a little absently and basks in the simple joy of family. Izuku wakes up the following morning, Sunday, very slowly. His nose first picks up on the distant smell of Himiko's 100-yen store shampoo from where she's taking a too-hot shower down the hall, and the smell of Shoto's sweat, and the smell of disinfectant they used on the mattress they pulled from the dump. Then his ears register the whine of the pipes under the strain of Himiko's too-hot water, and Shoto's gentle breathing through which Izuku can tell he is awake, and the sound of Shigaraki and Jean and Hitoshi arguing in the hallway, outside the closed door about who gets to use the shower next. There are other showers, but you can only use one at a time if you want hot water. Then his body feels the sticky, grimy, stiff texture of his villain clothes from yesterday, the coarse grit of dust and debris stuck in his tangled hair, the stick of that one spring that doesn't fit quite right in the mattress anymore into Izuku's side, the warm pressure of Shoto's left arm under Izuku's neck, and the soft caress of the fleece blanket on top of him. Shoto adamantly refuses blankets at almost all times, so it is just over Izuku. Finally, Izuku decides to peel his eyes open to the mid-morning light coming through the fucked-up blinds over the 2 windows, the peeling wallpaper, the water-damaged ceiling and floor, and Shoto's eyes blinking groggily at him from half a foot away. "Good morning," Shoto says. Izuku smiles at him and snuggles a little closer, tucking himself into Shoto's arms. "You could have gotten up," he says. "I know you like to shower in the morning. At this rate, you won't get one until dinner time." They both giggle when Hitoshi says taller people should get a shower first, and Shigaraki screams that it's 2 centimeters, you cretinous fuckwad, and Jean ticks loudly and tells both of them to shut up and let people sleep. "You were asleep on my arm," Shoto says, wrapping both arms around Izuku. "It would have been illegal to get up, I'm pretty sure." He's holding Izuku tight enough that they both know what he says isn't what he means. "I love you, Shoto," Izuku whispers into Shoto's collarbone. "I love you too, Izuku," Shoto whispers to the crown of Izuku's head. Izuku sighs. He smiles. "Soon we can wake up like this every day. Well, not here, but like this. Happy." Shoto doesn't respond. Izuku doesn't expect him to, doesn't need him to. They understand each other in the way Izuku's fingers tap out an anxious rhythm on Shoto's shoulder blades and the way Shoto's breath whispers through Izuku's curls. "I think Kurogiri is making breakfast," Shoto says eventually. "I heard him tell everyone in the hallway just before you got up." "Is this your way of saying you're hungry?" Izuku asks, and Shoto doesn't respond, but Izuku doesn't need him to. Just wiggles out of Shoto's arms and kisses him when he pouts about the loss and drags him by the hand out the door and down the stairs to the bar, where Kurogiri is in fact putting miso soup in bowls with little morsels of salmon and rice on the side. Kurogiri smiles. He doesn't have a visible mouth, but after around a month, everyone can pick up the expression in the way his yellow eyes crinkle and his cloudy edges ripple. "Looks like food is truly the most effective way to draw a crowd," he says, and it takes several seconds, but eventually they recognize that was a joke, and they all laugh. Izuku's burner phone chimes. "That phone can receive texts," Momo says, half joking and half actually asking. "All burner phones can receive texts," Compress tells her, "but only if they know the number." Eyes turn to Izuku. "Who's texting you?" Shigaraki asks lowly. "I'd say your boyfriend, but he's right there." Shoto, for his part, looks a little annoyed at the comment and the whole conversation. He can text whoever he wants. No, that's his burner phone," Magne says. "He doesn't even call his mom. God bless whoever raised this kid. I feel like Shigaraki has a valid question." Izuku's hackles don't raise like Shoto's. His jaw doesn't hitch. There's no steel or secret in his eyes. "It's fine, Shoto. They're just asking." He passes a hand over the back of Shoto's neck, rubbing a knot out there. To everyone else, he says, "My informants. I'm texting my informants." "I thought Shoto was your informant," Hitoshi says. To his credit, he's genuinely not offended by the fact that he's been misled. Pretty much nobody in the league is. They get it. If they're arrested, defeated, or worse, there's no information for the police or the heroes to beat out of them. Whether that ends up being a physical, mental, or emotional beating. If they don't have the information. "He got the information I needed him to get," Izuku says, voice just a few turns too tight, and eyes too bright, the guilt making itself known. "Now he's here. I still go out and pick up those notes in the UA wall, don't I?" "I guess, yeah," Jean says. "Who are the new informants?" Shigaraki asks. "Or have we always been working with their information?" We've always had them on our side, Shoto says with a quiet little smile. Wait, do we know them? Momo asks. Yes, Izuku says. It's Ochako and Sue. Really? Himiko cries, standing up from her bar stool to twirl around the room. I've been working with Ochako and Sue the whole time. I'm so happy. I love them. Dabi smirks, but then it drops and he asks, Wait, what information was Shoto getting then? Izuku glances at Dabi. He knows Dabi is already pretty sure what information Shoto was getting. There's a reason Endeavor's fall has always been slated for the latter half of Izuku's plan. Izuku needed to give Shoto time to gather evidence. Dabi puts the pieces together quickly. You son of a bitch, he mutters, low and dangerous. We couldn't have done it without that, Dabi, Izuku reasons calmly, not standing from his final bites of rice and salmon even though Dabi is, flames flickering around his silhouette. What? Jean stands too, placating. Whoa, Dabi, what's going on? What did he say? Nothing, Dabi says. He just implied that he let his own boyfriend get the shit beat out of him to get dirt on Endeavor. Momo whirls to stand. That's not fair. You can't put that on Izuku. Endeavor would have done it anyway. Sure, Dabi says. But Izuku could have taken Shoto with him when he first left. Then Endeavor never would have gotten the chance. How would you like me to have gotten that proof? Izuku asks with dangerous stillness, finally spinning around in his bar stool to face Dabi's blue, up to the elbows in flame. Endeavor is the #1 hero since All Might's retirement. His popularity polls may not be high, but his word is still ironclad against ours if we say he's abusing his kids. We could have killed him, Dabi cries. That would have made him a martyr, Izuku screams back. What about that is not clicking for you? If someone dies for a cause, that doesn't kill their legacy. We would have made 1,000 more Endeavors somewhere down the line. That is the big picture. That's the chessboard. The tears are back, but Izuku wipes them and his face goes dark. Don't you dare accuse me of letting Shoto get hurt when I could have done something about it. Izuku just manages to keep you of all people behind his teeth, but Dabi hears it anyway. And Shoto puts it together quick, too. Wait, he says softly. When I first got here, you knew it was my father that hit me. He blinks at Dabi, scar wrinkling where his brow furrows. And just now, you knew what kind of evidence I would have had to gather. Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to, kid. Dabi murmurs, barely audible. The rest of the bar stares, petrified. Jean's left arm spasms in a tick, and Himiko is clinging nervously to Momo's elbow. What do you know? Shoto asks. Izuku tries to get him to step back, with a hand on his shoulder, but Shoto shakes it off, and Izuku has to accept that Dabi is the one who baited the trap he is caught in. Shoto looks Dabi in the eyes and demands, Who are you to Endeavor? And Dabi's expression crumbles and rebuilds, and he answers in the quietest voice anyone has ever heard him speak in. A son. Most of the League doesn't hear him. Compress shouts, Excuse me! And Himiko leans away from the noise, and even Kurogiri stills where he's washing some dishes. But Shoto heard him loud and clear. He says, Toya died. Dabi's voice cracks around the words. No, I didn't. Holy shit, are you two genuinely fucking brothers? Shigaraki shouts. Oh my god, Momo gasps, dragging Himiko with her as she gravitates closer. You have the same nose and everything. It's been bugging me since we arrived here. Hitoshi jokes. You even got matching scars. Kinda. Hitoshi! Magne slaps him on the back of the head without much force. Rude. But the room stills again, when the room crackles colder as Shoto screams. No, Toya died. We have some ashes from the forest in an urn in his old room, and Fumi still puts a plate of food there, and Natsuo goes and talks to him when he's upset. Toya's dead. Toya's dead. Izuku wants to comfort him, but Dabi beats him to it. He wraps his charred arms around Shoto's shoulders, and he says, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be gone. I'm here now, if that helps. Shoto sniffles. His arms grab Dabi's back, and he buries his face in his big brother's shoulder. He's shaking a little. Of course it helps. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 22 of Watch Your Heroes Fall. Chapter 23 will be next. I hope you all are still enjoying, and as always, thank you so much for listening.